and welcome to Dinner Discussions with Lay. As always, this episode is being sponsored by South Island Spice, www.southislandspice.com. So we have our guest today to discuss why men are not thoughtful. But before we get there, the dish of the day is pan-seared scallops with fire roasted corn and a tomato puree. Our guest we have today is, we're going to start with the ladies. We're going to start with Shanice.
Hi, everyone.
To her side is Samario.
How y'all doing?
And then we have Chef Mark.
Yo.
Okay, fellas. So, and I can only speak from my experience, women are natural born givers for the most part, right? So we listen to your needs, your wants, and we pay attention to where there are gaps and we try to fill them. Especially, in the early stages, y'all say y'all want us to show y'all that we are wife material, relationship material, or whatever the case may be. And often we are left feeling unfulfilled. We feel like we're always giving and seldom ever receiving in return. So I'll give an example. Part of my love language are acts of service and gift giving. I automatically step in and do certain things, especially if you ask me, I need help with this, or I need you to do that, or whatever, because I am a natural born people pleaser. I'm going to do it. But quite often in my dating life, I have left unfulfilled because when the tables are on the other end, I don't receive it back. And I feel like men are very self-serving, selfish, and self-centered. And if it doesn't benefit them or doesn't make sense to them, then it doesn't matter. So, gentlemen, can you tell me why you think, and assuming, even if it's not you who is a person who is selfish or self-centered, I'm sure you probably know a guy who is, or whatever the case may be. Can you tell us why guys may not be so intuitive to our wants and needs? Let's start with you, Mark.
Well, speaking on behalf of men who aren't, if I had to play that role, I would say men are selfish. You already alluded to that by saying that, men don't think of anyone else other than themselves, and they want subservient people to fall in line. Two, I don't think men are as creative and naturally giving by nature. I don't think men are completely thoughtful without some sort of guidance or training. It's hard, my brother. Tomorrow, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't really
But why
touch
not?
on why men aren't thoughtful.
Well, I think that it's case by case. As for me, I've been on both sides. I've been thoughtful and I've been not so thoughtful. I've been where I mess with women. I had no intentions on being with them, but I would go to their house and I'll see a need, and I would empty the trash, or if I see that they got kids running all around or whatever, and I see that they, is trying to take care of the kids, there's no man, I'll wash the dishes, I'll clean up, I'll do whatever they need to be done that I see. Because I was raised by a woman, so I'm kind of like, I have both. So I can do the men things, and I can also be a Sally homemaker. I can clean probably better than a woman. But I would look and do it, but I have no intentions on being with that woman. But she looks at it like, oh, this is a good man. But I was just doing it because I was being thoughtful.
Okay.
I've been in places where I didn't have a dime to give anything. And a lot of times, what I was told about love languages, my love languages speak to me. But if for Shanice,
dear.
Shanice, he'll take it. But for Shanice, her love language may be gifts.
It
but
is.
I'm not speaking to her love language because I don't know her love language yet, and I don't know what floats her boat. The only thing I know is what I like.
That's right.
So I have to learn her in order to speak her language to even be considered as thoughtful.
Okay.
Men and women, we tend to, if a woman is not giving us sex or not fulfilling our needs, we tend to be like, get her. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. And if we're not fulfilling a woman's needs, you know, for whatever her needs are, then she's not going to do what we want. You know, you have a lot of selfish people that don't give a damn if you doing or if you ain't. They not going to do it because they're selfish.
That's right.
It's just, you know, what you've been taught, like you said, you know, a lot of men, how can you be a father when you never had a father? How can you be a son? You don't know how to be a son because there was nobody to let you know that you was a son. In order for you to grow and to be a father. So if you never was taught, most of us, I can't speak for everybody because I don't know everybody, but most of the people that I know, we was raised without a father. So we don't know what it looked like to treat a woman. How you know what it looked like to treat a woman when a woman is raising you? So she's raising your little ass to be selfish anyway, because a lot of women are selfish. Sorry to say, but a lot of women are selfish, and we are learning what a woman would do, not what a man. A woman wants a man, but women don't know what a man is because they never seen a man. So how they gonna know what a man is? You know what I'm saying? All we know is we're growing up in a selfish society because none of us know what it looks like to even be a husband or a wife or to. I know when I was growing up, my grandmother, she would get up. She worked. She would get up at 4:30 in the morning and cook her husband breakfast, have his coffee, and his lunch. And when he came home, he had dinner. And she worked. So there goes that theory of I work too. That theory was gone. But at that time, you know, it was a different time. You know, she was raised by her mother and father. She's seen what it was, but we're not. A lot of the women now, the grandmas, you know, at 45, so they out with their daughters, you know, partying and everything. So what are we teaching? We letting the internet raise us and letting the internet decide what's thoughtful and what's not. Okay. You know, me thoughtful when you come in and, you know, I come in and I'm gonna say, hey, you know, today I know my babe, she's in school. I'm gonna go to the store and get her some books, you know, writing utensils and stuff like that. Now that's a gesture of being thoughtful to me. She may not think that.
That's fair.
You know, so we don't really even know what because we're not learning each other, so we don't know what thoughtfulness is.
Okay.
My opinion.
I feel like, and I totally understand what you're saying. I feel like initially you might not know how to be thoughtful to that person, but there are some people who know their significant other inside and out. And when it comes to special days, when it comes to things like Valentine's Day or a birthday or Christmas, it's just like the mindset is to do the absolute bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I understand totally being appreciative and grateful for a gift. I don't feel like I'm an ungrateful person, but ultimately it's the effort that we see, that we, you know, that we analyze and appreciate. So if every special day in the year you're just getting me flowers and candy, flowers and candy, flowers and candy, flowers and candy, eventually it's just like, number one, I ain't asked for just flowers and candy, but I want to ultimately feel the effort, which is, okay, I worked several hours. I went out of my way to make sure that, you know, I had enough saved to get this girl, you know what I'm saying? Blank. You know, we do appreciate effort. You know, as much as some women make it seem like we don't, we definitely do appreciate effort. The thoughtfulness definitely goes a long way. Even just as simple as you go in the bathroom and you realize like, oh, there's no more tissue paper in here, or there's no more, you know, hand napkins, or, you know, I see that she has a need for blank, and fulfilling that. Totally small gesture, greatly and widely appreciated. Okay.
So should I leave the toilet seat up or down?
Oh, honestly, that doesn't necessarily bother me, but I mean, I can appreciate a guy who is thoughtful enough of me to put it down. You know, that's even thoughtful as well.
I want to double back to the comment that you made when we didn't have fathers. How do we know how to be fathers? And I feel like a lot of men use that as an excuse. Not saying you, just in general. It's easy. be what you didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Be what you didn't have.
Yeah.
You know how you felt as a child
When you didn't have it.
not having certain things from your parents.
Yeah.
So why not be that person that you did not have? I don't think that's hard.
I don't feel like it is either.
Well, you throw examples out the window then.
What do you mean
do you mean?
examples?
You gotta have an example of being a man, or an example of that why you go to school. You go to school because why? They're teaching you how to be a doctor. If I never was a doctor, you're gonna say, go ahead and perform open heart surgery because you ain't never performed open heart surgery.
Well, no.
You go to school to learn how to perform open heart surgery. So I learned from my daddy how
To be a
to.
father?
I learned from my father how to come in and kiss his wife on the cheek when he come in. Hey baby, greet her when he comes in the house. Not sit his ass down and watching TV and be my dinner ready. No, have, like you said, a thoughtful gift. It don't have to necessarily be flowers, but if he know that she like Rosetta or some kind of wine or whatever, come in baby, here you go, and have it. You know what I'm saying? And kiss her and show her that you appreciate everything she does in the house. If you never saw that, how you gonna come in and do it?
Okay.
You can't. You can't be, when you first have your first child, you make so many mistakes because you never had a child. Your maternal instincts kick in, you know, but you don't touch that. You know, you're so protective of that first child. But then when you have your second and you have your third, it's like, okay, I've seen that before.
Get a little loud.
Okay.
I've seen that before. I know that his nose is running and his mucus, I know to stay away from milk. But if you don't have that example, you can't say, well, I know, and I'm gonna say to piggyback off what you said, you are right. I'm not saying you're wrong because I didn't have a father, but I'm a great father to my children. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, but I stick in there with my child, you know, my children. When I first had my daughter, I was broke as a joke. I was still playing around, and I was 30, so it wasn't like I didn't know. I just wasn't mature enough at the time. I was still running and doing my thing. But as I started getting older and mature, like you said in the previous conversation, I got more mature. So now I can't just quit a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta hang in there, and my daughter gotta eat. You know. So now I got a son. My son is he gets everything that my daughter didn't. I pay my daughter's school now. You know, I pay her tuition and her rent at her school. But I couldn't do that before. But I'm constantly being a man that I think I should be to my children.
Yeah.
I'm doing things that I couldn't do before. But like she said, I'm doing things that I know I wasn't capable of doing. But I'm doing it because nobody did it for me.
That's
I went to school and I used every woman that I could. Because nobody was sending me money. How was I going to wash my clothes? After you get the little card, your little food card, and that runs out, you hungry at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
How was I going to eat? You know, I did what was convenient and what I knew was to use women. And I'll say I was pretty good at it.
Oh my God.
I'm just playing.
Thank you for
We appreciate your honesty.
It was a little jokey joke.
Brother.
But I did what I knew how to do. But was it right? No, because internally I felt that it was wrong. So we all do have that internal, you know, part like you know it's wrong, but I only could do what I knew how to do until, like she said, I got mature and I fought and fought and fought. So now, when I look in the mirror, I say, what can I do better? What can I do to be a better husband, father, whatever? So those are the things that I'm practicing. But I had to seek God in order to even know, you know, how to do it according to what He thinks.
Of course.
It should be done. Not what we all think what thoughtfulness is, but I know how to treat you. If I want, the man, he's the foundation.
That's
if you want a good relationship, then you gotta do what it's gonna take to have a good relationship.
That's right.
If you don't, then you're gonna have a terrible relationship. So we all know what we should be doing, you know, what we should be doing and what you're lacking. You know what it is, but we're selfish. Like my man Mark said, we selfish, we don't know how to communicate, you know, and for men, and I'm always gonna be on men's side, but for a man, we are not in a place. We're never giving an opportunity to be vulnerable. We're never given the space to be vulnerable and to say what's feel. We always stop crying. Boys ain't supposed to cry, and we always got to be tough. We're never given a platform to be vulnerable in no situation. We always got to be tough. We always got to figure it out. We can't cry on a woman's shoulder because then you're soft, So we're not given that platform to be vulnerable. So a lot of stuff, like you said, we have no creativity. We don't know how to please a woman because we don't talk to a woman. All we think about is her skirt. We don't talk to them and really get inside their mind, make love to their mind. You always want to make love to her body. So if you make love to her mind, then you will see
know these things.
What she wants that is thoughtful to her.
That's
but
right.
We don't. Yeah, we gotta learn her.
I
We
agree.
don't try to learn. We want to learn in panties, but we don't want to learn nothing else.
I agree. And
I talk too much.
nah, it's okay.
You fine, that's what we here for.
I agree, but I feel like we have to just collectively have to come to a line where we realize like what's the limit between knowing better and doing better. Okay, just like we all said about just be the person that you wish that you had. Very much so. When it comes to my daughter, like I try to make sure she has everything that I feel like I didn't have. My daughter has been to more countries than I have. You know what I mean? And I'm starting her off early. I told you guys I went to, predominantly white schools, and I lived in the inner city. And whenever we would come back from summer break, spring break, Christmas break, you name it, these kids had gone all over the world. And I never had anything to write in my journal except for how I played outside. You know what I mean? So I try to make sure that, even though like I am a single parent, I don't really have a co-parenting relationship. So I try to make sure that my daughter has everything that I feel like I didn't have, toys, clothes, shoes, whatever, rewarding her for good grades and good behavior and things like that, making sure she feels loved. And I don't want my child to ever feel like she's been missing out on anything. Even with the absence of a father, I try to make sure my daughter doesn't feel like she's missing out on anything. So it's important to use thought and invest that into, your future positions or roles as parents, as family, sisters, wives, husbands, brothers, you name it, and just be that person that you wish you had, while you were in that position. So thoughtfulness, I feel like it is important to know your partner's love language, and it is important to understand that you cannot love other people in your own love languages. My love language is, quality time, and I like gifts as well. Like I love to feel like somebody thought about me, no matter how big or how small,
Mine is physical touch.
But yours is physical touch? Okay.
Really?
But I have gotten to positions where I try to give people all the time because I know how that makes me feel. And everybody doesn't receive things the same way. Some people just like to have somebody sitting next to them. Some people just like to have conversations. Some people just like to, to cuddle. So I feel like so many people put expectations or requirements on how people should receive their own love languages, and the truth of the matter is it's not always the case.
So do you think that plays into how we as men try to? Okay, you gotta remember.
It does.
You gotta remember, like, everywhere we look on TV, every kiss became buy your woman a fucking bouquet, like everywhere we
diamond,
look. Being conditioned like Valentine's Day. Buy your woman a diamond for Valentine's. Like, so
What about us?
do you think? I mean, that's another topic too. What about us? But like, do you think that all of this conditioning takes away from how to properly be thoughtful when it comes to a woman? I've dated women who didn't want roses, didn't want flowers. All they wanted was the cuddle. All they wanted was whatever. Thought I was being thoughtful. And then I've dated some women who I did all of that shit all of the flowers. Fucking, I had a fucking horse in my house. Like,
Not a horse.
you know what I'm saying?
Sir, wait.
A little horse. A little horse was in the house.
Please explain that story.
A horse? No, it was just a horse. I bought a horse, but it was a long time ago. In the house, trying to be romantic.
How big was this horse?
The horse, it was this mare was. It's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like romantic, and the woman ultimately stated that I didn't do anything for her.
Oh wow.
So I thought I was being thoughtful, but in summation, just thoughtfulness is really intrinsic to the person.
That's right.
You feel
I
me?
agree.
Like you said, you touched on that. You can't love somebody in another love language, but a lot of us men are typically trying to love in the languages that we are presented.
I will say this because you were about to get to it, and I think you kind of, segued into something else. But I think you were going to say the way that you guys are conditioned, does that have an effect on how you guys show thoughtfulness? And personally, I know a lot of men who don't like receiving anything gift-wise. Do you understand? They're not necessarily like. Exactly. It doesn't click because I feel like men understand, or most men tend to genuinely understand their natural role as protector and provider. You understand? But there are some women who do give gifts, and the guy's just like, "Oh, babe, you didn't have to do that." Like, they never use it.
I've been there.
You know what I mean? Never use it. Never. They don't really see the value in that because that's not their natural.
Again,
role.
Platform to accept gifts because we never get them and we're always the one that's giving it. But to go back to what you said earlier.
Thank you.
So my son, we was in McDonald's line, right? And he seen this girl, this woman, not a girl. He seen a woman, and this woman was pretty to him. So he's looking out the back seat, and I'm like, man, sit down. What you doing? And
He saw a woman, man.
Yeah, he said,
he saw a woman.
Yeah, he said a woman. She was dry. So he said, Daddy, that's the kind of girl I like.
Uh-oh.
Because we had this discussion where he said he like white women because he goes to a white school. So he likes white women. But this particular woman was black and she was light skinned and she was pretty.
Yeah.
My son kept staring at her. Then he rolls out the window. He gives her a thumbs up. So I'm looking at him, right? So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Being the guy that I am, this is what I do. I asked the lady, what did she order? Right? So I paid for her food.
Nice.
Right? And so when she came up, I seen her, she smiled and everything. Yeah. So my son is looking back. So I drive off because I didn't want her. Right. My son said, Daddy, you're not going to sit and wait till she say thank you? He's 6, about to be 7.
Dope.
So he already knows in his mind to say, I'm going to get you this, but what are you going to say back? So therefore, the woman, if she says thank you, now you condition him to keep doing it.
Right.
But, I like to play devil's advocate. But here's the thing. She's teaching her daughter what she didn't get, taking her on all these trips and exposing her daughter to the finer things of life and things like that. But when her daughter grows up, this is what she's going to expect.
Expectations.
How many men is going to be able to take her to Africa? How many men is going to be able to satisfy what this young girl that grew up to be a woman expects? So now her expectation is some stuff that most men ain't going to be able to get her. So in the same turn, there's going to be a lot of men that's going to break her heart because they are going to initially, see her a beautiful girl. I like her. They're going to go take her out on a date. But then her daughter in turn is going to be like, well, you know what I'm saying? And if she makes a mistake and give them some, they know in their heart they can't keep up with what this young girl is exposed to and what she expects. Right. So what they going to do? They going to leave because they know they can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we're teaching our children what we didn't have and we expose them to things, I'm not saying you don't, we need to have that conversation too. Look, everybody can't do this. Mom and daddy is doing this because mom and daddy got jobs. Mom and daddy done saved and did this so that you can have and be exposed to. But don't expect everybody to do this and fall in line for what you are exposed to. So therefore, now we're creating a platform to where men are able to say, hey, I don't have it, but give me an opportunity to get it and to provide that for you.
Right.
You know, and if he has that mentality, that means he is willing to work and to be the man that he needs to be for his family and for that relationship. But we get it and we do it like, well, this is my expectation. I expect this. Okay, one of my expectations is this. Are you going to satisfy my expectations, or are you going to say that my expectations don't mean anything, only your expectations mean everything? So that's why men, we want to take y'all out. Naturally, we want to take y'all out and spin and all that. But at the same time, we cannot take all y'all out and be this man that y'all expect us to be, because most men try to be players anyway. But you take women out and this is what they expect. We can't do that. But women, they'll say this: we can take ourselves to this restaurant or this or that, but so can we. But most men, we go out and we have to provide for two when we go out. So not only am I buying one drink for myself, I got to buy you a drink. And if I got to buy me another drink, then I'm buying you another drink. That's 4 drinks. It's over $100 that you spending on drinks of this size. You know, but we want to take y'all out. But a lot of men feel like we're being used. So if I take you out to eat, I'm a gun for that, you know, for what I want from you.
Okay. Can I
Sure.
just get in on you to Mario? Oh, you give me a lot of hell today, baby.
Wait, but hold up, though. I just want to chime in something really quick. So I have to represent for my chocolate sisters. And one thing that you said that stood out to me was that because your son goes to a predominantly white school, he's into white girls. And when he did find a black woman attractive, she was of the lighter skin. And I think it is your responsibility to start to teach him to appreciate the beauty in chocolate skin. That is important.
I agree, but my son, the reason why I didn't say anything or elaborate on anything, I was happy in itself that my son liked women. That's for number one.
Noted.
But for number 2, he's a 6-year-old boy. I just let him do his thing. Right now, for me, it's not about what you like or what you don't like, because it's not time for him. I want my son to be a boy and have fun and everything. It ain't time for him to date. He's in the 1st grade. It ain't really time for him to date. But I am
But you
happy.
gotta start
I was
early when
dating
you
in the
start
1st grade.
teaching them.
Well, he like girls, but what
Right,
I'm saying is,
but you can't wait to start teaching them the beauty and diversity.
okay, let me give you this. Let me give you this scenario. My daughter,
Yeah.
she said she was not going to date a black guy. Why? Because he's sagging his pants and all that, right? So I was like, okay. But my daughter moved to Oregon and went to school with all whites.
Yeah.
She came back and said, forget that.
Right.
I love my black man. So it's time. I wasn't going to sit there, you date it, because the more I say date a black woman, the more he going to date white women. The more he's going to like what I tell him not to do. Right now, it's, come on, son, let's go out there and play catch. Come on, let's go out there. Let me show you out. I got him in boxing. Let's go out there. I'm going to hit you in the mitts and box. Let's go out here and you like art? Come on, let's go to Walmart and get you some art stuff and draw.
Right.
I don't really want to talk to him about liking a girl or not.
Okay.
I want him to be a boy
kid.
as long as he can. I want to teach him how I'm your dad. Me and him is having bonding time together as male, as father and son. We bonding. When he gets, okay, I'll say 3rd grade. Now, we can talk about, you know, because I tell him now, I say, son, you a boy, right? You got a penis and you are a man. God made you a man. He didn't make you to say, I want to be trans. My son say, ugh, I don't even like pink cotton candy. You know what I'm saying? He like nothing to do with what a woman likes. And I'm cool with that right now. So that I know that he's a young man.
Right.
I don't want to teach him about everything else right now. I want to spend that
Makes
bonding
sense.
time as a child.
Right.
So that's why I didn't really get on
that
I'll
subject.
give
that
you that.
subject
No,
of
that-
light and dark and none of that because
Yeah.
that's a touchy situation. Because I didn't like dark skinned women at one point. I think all women is beautiful.
I love chocolate.
Yeah, but see that's but that's why it's 8 billion people in the world. Everybody got their preference.
And that's
Light, fat,
I totally
dark,
I
agree.
love caramel women, chocolate
Yeah.
women. I love all
I
of
love them all too.
Aw.
Black women.
So back to what I was trying to say, because even though you were trying to play devil's advocate, which I will give you, I would hope that the real Tamario does not actually think or feel this way. But I feel like a lot of the things that you said come from a lack mindset, and I do want us black people to stop moving around with a lack mindset. We need to move in abundance, sweetheart. My baby can have it all. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm gonna teach her that, you know, that most of the guys that she meets are not gonna be able to do this and do that for her. You know, if she meets them and they're not able to do it, sweetie, move on. There is a man out there that will do it, because I know plenty of women who are living their absolute best lives. They are traveling the world. They don't have to work. They don't have to do this. They don't have to do that. Their men take care of them. Black, white, Arab, Indian, Asian, you name it. You know what I mean? 8 billion people in the world, you know, I don't want anybody to settle. And that's just that. My kid, my friends, I don't want nobody to feel like they have to settle, because, you know, I got to keep it real with my daughter that most men aren't going to be able to do that. The truth of the matter is, it's possible that a lot of men are not going to be able to do that, but there are a lot of men that will. Okay? So that's all I want to say. I feel like as a people, we need to operate in the mindset of more abundance. I want to shoot to a higher level. I'm not going to allow what my dad did or didn't show me. I'm not going to allow, you know, what my boss said or didn't say. I'm not going to allow, you know, my friends, my family, whatever, to limit my abundance. And when we think that way and when we feel that way, you know, the experiences that I am showing my child, she will want to show her children 10 times more. We don't have to continue living, you know, the lives of where I don't have anything to write in my journal because I ain't go nowhere. I don't want that to be any of my offspring's, my legacy's case. Do you understand what I'm saying? But because we are actively trying to be the people that we didn't have, or trying to show our kids what we didn't have, we are becoming better people. We're getting jobs we never got before. We're sitting in rooms we never sat in before. You know, we're making friends that we never thought we would have. We're in rooms with people who are millionaires and billionaires. Like, we have to think at a higher level and stop limiting ourselves. Stop thinking and telling ourselves that we're not worthy of certain experiences, certain environments, certain friends, certain levels. We're not worthy of that, but we really are. You know, we are literally the blueprint out here. And when we start thinking that and believing that, I feel like as a people, we will prosper on a much higher level. I feel like society and the system has tricked us into believing we're at the bottom. Truth of the matter is, we are at the top, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we the blueprint. A lot of these people copy off of us to make trends. They copy off of us, and they'll, you know, the news will report them as being the best trendsetter when we was doing this 400 years ago. Sweetheart, this is not new. You know what I'm saying? We're not new to this. We're true to this, you know? So once we begin to operate like we are in our right and in our, you know, our I don't know how to put it into words, but we are the original and not the copy, then we can market it, then we can sell it, then we can make it a trend, then we can whatever, you know what I mean? And we'll be the ones capitalizing off of it, not everybody else, you know? So ultimately for us, abundance mindset needs to be a thing. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say, there are a lot of men out there who come down on women for having said mindset. Do you understand? Yeah. I think that there are men who look at women a certain type of way when they say, oh, you know, I want to live a life like this, or I want to live a life like that. But
soft life.
You know, exactly.
We are so shamed.
You know, soft life. Thank you, dear.
I want some of that with the corn and the soft
yes.
life.
You know, we are shamed for wanting the soft life, and I know that it's not a reality for everybody. I totally get it. Absolutely. But I don't feel like there's anything wrong with anybody wanting to have a certain level of abundance, and that's just that.
I got two takeaways from what you two have said in reference to being thoughtful.
Yeah.
One, a lot of men. You know, it's funny. I made a video about this. I talk about the term propensity.
Okay.
So a lot of men want propensity in relationships. We want to know that our efforts are being met with some sort of interest.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we are thoughtful, we want to know that our thoughtfulness is being met, that there's some sort of bed that we can lay that on to know that this is a soft place.
Right.
Second, when it comes to us, we have to learn your love language.
Mm-hmm.
If we go out and just get you some fucking chocolate and some flowers, that's not going to meet the thoughtfulness that you may want.
Yeah.
We could just fucking leave the toilet seat up. And I'm not saying that's the only thing we need to do. But we could just leave the toilet seat down, rather, and that could be, like, that could make your day. You know what I'm saying? So, two things. A lot of us men, when we are thoughtful, we want to have some sort of propensity there. There's some sort of interest.
Yes, you want to know that it's going somewhere.
Some sort of, like, connection to say, yo, you press that button, the button works. All right? And two, we need to learn your love languages better. You ladies, we need to learn your love languages better. We need to learn your love languages better. So that we can be more thoughtful and more fulfilling in the things that we do.
That's right.
So we won't feel empty either way.
Yeah.
It's the two-sided. That's mutuality.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I want some more drink.
So Mario, well, I know you got something to say.
The thing about it is we can't have a conversation if I agree with you.
That's true.
So I
Well,
gotta
you can,
disagree.
but you can.
No, we can't. We can't have a true conversation because there's a lot of men that thinks like negative, and there's a lot of women that, of course, more women probably gonna agree with you than agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
All women are gonna agree.
Oh, of course.
All women.
But there's a lot of men out there that, I'm helping. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to communicate some of the things that I have said.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a man, and I have struggled. I have stood the test of time, and I take care of myself. So I'm not afraid to tell anybody my thought process, whether you like it or not. I'm going to say what I want, because at the end of the day, I don't have to kiss your butt, because I'm not, what you call them earlier? Men that want
Hobosexual?
Yeah, homosexual. I'm not a homosexual. I go home to my own, and so at the end of the day, whatever somebody doesn't agree with me on, we can agree to disagree. It's not I can't stand you or anything like that. But I just feel like being on both sides of the track, I've been a man that didn't know a damn thing. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, and I'm not afraid to say, hey, I don't know. And a lot of men, when we don't know, we be punished for it. So we try to act like we know. That's why we always act like we know everything. That's pride. It's pride. You know what I'm saying? We act like we know, but we really don't. And then when we don't know, we get punished for it. So a lot of men, like you said earlier, we don't have any creativity other than going to buy you a purse, going to buy you some shoes, going to, I'm going to take her here, I'm going to do this.
Literally.
Yeah, well, men that don't have it don't do it. But men that have it, that's what they
will
lead
do
with.
it.
Because that's what they have, and they know that they can give you because they financially able to do all of that. So that's what they lead with, because it's another form of control.
That's a
But they don't have creativity neither. Now I'm going to tell you who do got creativity. Those people who had to play outside and sit outside all day because mama said stay outside and drink out the water hose. You had to stay out there the whole summer outside, and you had to go play, create this game, create this. So my generation, we have creativity. So I can sit and look at you and be like, ooh, she like this, and I'll go in there and write you a letter and then mail you some candy in the letter, instead of going to the store and getting that expensive candy. I'm gonna go get you all the assorted candies that we all like as a child, M&M's, all right, but put it in a box with a letter and mail it to you. So when you go to your mailbox, open it up, you got a letter with this type of candy, but I put thought into that.
That's right.
I have never seen a man.
Well, see, that's the man you mess with. But anyway, go back to it.
It's always the men you mess with.
I'm always gonna do that.
I ain't never seen it
I'm
either.
always gonna do that. Yeah.
Right.
I can't say I'm you. That's the men you mess with. But we as men, we do need more men form You know what I'm saying? Not to where we get together and argue and be like, oh, you suck a nigga and all that. We need men that do cater to women. Because then your ass can get some ideas from a man that do cater to a woman. And then we can learn from men that don't cater, and why don't you cater?
There's levels.
There's levels to it.
There are levels to catering.
Levels to it.
Let's talk about the levels.
All right, so I'm gonna say one thing based on what you just said. I forgot because I'm drunk, but I will remember. But there are levels to catering to women because, like, you can cater to the point where you get used.
That's right.
And you can cater to the point where, like I said, where you learn them. Yeah. So, what were you gonna say?
Okay, so let me go through. So I actually asked this question on Facebook, right? And I was surprised at the feedback that I got from the men. That was very genuine. So I do have to say I had to put a premise of a sidebar and tell the men you can't gaslight. You had to accept responsibility. You know, this is truly an honest question. You can't finger point, things of that nature. So I'm going to read a few of the responses that I got. And this one actually got 147 comments, which is probably the highest amount of engagement that I got from men in a while that was truly honest. I'm trying to load it while... So, one gentleman said, depends on your definition of thoughtful. Thoughtful, in parentheses, is open for interpretation. To some women, thoughtful can mean remembering certain, it spun on me. Jesus. Hold on, y'all. I gotta go back to it. Right, it is the worst. Okay. Thoughtful can mean remembering certain dates, special occasions, anniversaries, etc. To some women, thoughtful may mean none of the above. To other women, thoughtful may mean being a leader, a protector, and a provider. Too broad of a question. I think it needs to be narrowed down some. So in my response, I said to him, thoughtful would be thinking outside of the box and acts of service.
Okay.
So one response that I got, a few responses that I got that was the most meaningful is one gentleman said, why it's so hard for men to be thoughtful is a great question. Most men want one thing from a woman, depending on where in the cycle, and he put in parentheses cycle, he is, which typically determines how thoughtful he will be. How thoughtful will mean different things for different men. It also varies based on his disposable means. Lastly, why is it so hard? Men have gotten smarter, and from the men I know, they are only going on dates, trips, spending money on women they have a decent probability of bearing long-term fruit with.
Absolutely.
In other instances, the answer is simple: we don't have to. Because women in large are no longer required it.
Oh my God.
Gentlemen, I think we don't take self-accountability. I'll agree with him on that one, which in the post I did. Another one that stuck out for me, someone said, some of us aren't raised to be considerate. By the literal definition, we are inconsiderate. Shit just doesn't cross our minds. Years ago, a woman asked me about this and gave examples of what she does. For example, I said one random day, I said, I like Marvel movies. And so she goes out and buys me some Marvel collectibles. When she mentioned what she liked, I didn't retain it. I was taught to listen, but not to hear shit.
Wow.
I believe women are raised to be nurturers, so that is part of your initial thought process. Some men have to learn it. We are raised different, I think, is the short answer. It's a shame for real. Being thoughtful has gotten me further with women than damn near everything else. And lastly, what truly moved me, this particular gentleman said, from boys, most men are not trained to look after people. Most of us also don't have to go through life taking inventory of our surroundings. For example, I'm 6'4". There are things I don't have to really consider when walking around. So my social awareness can be skewed. A woman has to be socially aware in every environment, be it dress, safety, or whatever. Girls are given dolls, cook sets, vacuums, etc. to play with and to play house. Boys are given dinosaurs and wrestling and fighting games. As men get older, it takes an active effort to be not just more active but involved. We're trained to just provide. Don't know our kids' doctors' names, favorite colors, and we wait till the last minute to plan special things. Girl, that hit me.
Yep.
Hallelujah.
They do.
Like this. I feel like I wrote that down. That was a good one.
Oftentimes because it's taken off his plate or avoided. It's difficult for a man to be thoughtful if his primary awareness is security and protection. That's a security guard, not a partner.
Hey, that one right there needs
I feel like I wrote that.
Yeah, pin that
I
one.
actually invited him on the show.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you should
thank
invite
you.
him. He's good.
You
I
know,
feel like I wrote that
so
when I was
for
asleep.
me, when I wrote that post, I honestly didn't think I was gonna get so many genuine answers.
Yeah.
Even though I set it up that way,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm a pessimist, not an optimist. I'm working on that, y'all. Don't judge me. But I was just really like, okay, I was ready for the trolls.
Yeah.
What'd
But
y'all get out of that?
surprisingly, you know, I didn't get. Of course, there were one or two in the midst, but I didn't get a lot of trolls, and a lot of guys really answered genuinely.
Yeah.
And a lot of my girls read it, and we had discussion afterwards about it as a group because it was an awakening to really hear the words of men being transparent and honest.
Yeah.
Which is so seldom.
Yeah.
You know, you had the guys that came in usual defense mode.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the guys you choosing.
Yeah.
Well, if you wouldn't, you know, finger pointing. Well, if you didn't. And
Ah.
it's like, dude, like, we can't carry the burden all the time of
That's right.
everything.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that women are perfect.
Right.
I'm not saying that we can't do better. I'm not saying any of that.
Back and choking.
But right now, we are talking about you. And we need you to just be forthcoming
Look
for
at Mark.
once.
How you just look at me?
So Lane, how did you feel
Yes.
when you did get a genuine response from men that explained and didn't necessarily blame?
It was healing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, I probably read that post, and like I said, it's 147 comments.
Yeah.
And I think I posted that maybe Thursday. Was it Thursday?
It was after Valentine's. Yeah, I think it was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've probably read that complete post 3 or 4 times.
Because you had
Because
to,
it
you know
has
why?
healed a lot of things in me.
I
And
feel.
we'll read it wrong.
Yeah.
We'll read it differently than what they said. But what I got out of it is exactly what I've been trying to say. He just said it better than me. Men.
Really? Really? That wasn't defense. I just wanted.
We're gonna be good coast. You know, we need to be.
Oh my goodness.
Because we're gonna go at it. You ain't gonna just get yours off and I ain't gonna get mine, please.
You can say what you want to say. I'm gonna still get mine off. What you mean?
But anyway, what he said was exactly what I've been trying to say. We've been taught how to be wrestlers and boxers and all this. We wasn't taught to go and be preschool teachers and Sunday school teachers and stuff and patrons.
Nurturers, yeah.
We ain't taught to be nurturers. So we can't nurture
That's right.
if we ain't been taught.
Yeah.
That's why I said when a man comes in, if I see my father come in and kiss my mother and, you know what I'm saying, and bring her whatever it is he brings her, and, you know, they sitting on the couch in the love seat and they watching movies and they, you know, we gonna be looking like, God dang, get a room. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
It
in our
is
head, we
clicking.
like, oh, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I want my woman to do that. So then when you get into your relationship and somebody ain't doing that, you like, wait a minute, my mama, because most women say what? My daddy was up if they had a daddy. My daddy was a provider. My daddy went to work. My daddy did this and did. And then I didn't have a daddy, so I didn't see that he came in and worked. My mom struggled and had men and stuff like that, and I saw that part.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, I don't want that. I want a woman. My mom is hard. My mom right now is her new husband. He pays the bills, all the mortgage, the bills, and all that. Right. My mom buys a car, 2 cars, and she pays both car notes. But you know what she says? These are my cars, and if I leave, I'm taking my cars with me. So I'm a man's man. So I tell my mom, well, how is that fair? This man is paying everything, doing everything for you, but then you want to go to the store and say, well, why he don't spend his money on toilet paper and men products when he's paying every damn thing, and you get your money and you do what you want with your money, but then he has to come to you. You knew he was a smoker. He smoked weed. You knew that he drank before you got with him. And it's his house. But he can't do all that stuff no more. Why? Because he's paying everything and he got you. And you want to get mad and complain that he's asking you for a couple of dollars to go get some drink and some weed. And then you want to, what you doing with your money? Well, damn, I'm paying all the goddamn bills. I'm being thoughtful.
Oh my God.
I'm being thoughtful. According to what you think thoughtfulness is, paying all the bills. That's what you think. But it's not enough. Because why? When I come to ask you for $10 to go buy me a sack or buy me some beer, you got a problem. And then your stuff is your stuff.
That's an entitlement thing, man.
But my mother is a hard woman because she had to be hard. She had to be that hard person. This is mine. You know what I mean? She gotta be like that because that's what she chose to
the independence
do. And that's what
will harden
she
you.
did.
With all due respect, my brother, because that's going to usher into...
No, I want you to talk. No, all due respect.
I was going to say, I feel like some women aren't open enough to receive the thoughtfulness.
Okay.
Based on conditioning and traumas, right?
That's true.
So, with all respect to your mom.
No, you gotta talk.
Was your mom open to receiving things?
No, she got mad at me. She got mad at me and told me. I mean, as y'all can see right now, I got opinions.
I think a lot of them mothers got married because in their time that's what you were supposed to do.
Supposed to get married, have children, and leave the house.
But and I went through a lot of, but old habits are hard to break.
That's right.
And I went through a lot of trauma with my mother and my parents in general. And at one point, I had to wake up and realize that a large portion of my life and a lot of mistakes that I made was me trying not to be my mother and end up with my stepfather. You know, and don't get me wrong, I lived in what I call the twilight zone, right? So my stepfather wasn't the greatest, you know, when it came to fidelity and you know, monogamy and all that other stuff. But when he was home, you know, he loved on my mother. You know, so I wanted the best of both worlds. And so fast forwarding with a lot of issues that I had with my mother, I resented her for a long time. But at some point I had to wake up and realize that she had her own issues that was unresolved.
That's right.
She didn't, you know, therapy wasn't a thing to them.
That's right.
They
still new.
It's still new. That's what they were supposed to do. You know, she did what she thought was right. So the mother that I wish I had and I wanted for the time period that I grew up in, honestly, was not realistic. She was who she was because of the traumas that she had. And unfortunately, it became generational. You know, she went through things with her parents because she came from a 2-parent household, you know, which was rare. You know, but then my grandparents were functioning alcoholics, so that, you know, that had a bunch of stuff. And, you know, and then she trickled that down to me. And before I even knew what generational curses were, when I moved into my first apartment, I was 19 years old, my daughter was 2. And I remember holding her and making a promise to her that I was going to be everything that I never had in a parent. And in hindsight, looking at that, that was my promise to break the generational curse.
That's right.
You know, so at some point, and my mother now at 70 years old, she's finally, you know, she's starting to get it. So she's trying to change. She's apologized for certain things. You know, she's not perfect, but she's trying to see it from the viewpoint in the eyes of the world that we live in today. And how she could have been different, better, changed. But you can't go back and fix anything. You can only move from this point forward.
That's right.
You know, so I have learned to accept my mother for who she is today and not the woman that she was then.
That's dope.
So
That's dope.
I think we're at the end of our rope.
Oh, can I say something?
Go ahead.
You fine.
Oh, period.
She fine as hell. Damn, she fine too though.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Thank you.
Damn.
Are they single? Is my
You
question.
beautiful
because,
too.
you know,
But me and you we enemies until the camera.
are
goes
they
off.
singles? My question.
Well, I know
Are y'all single?
She's embarking on something, you know, new. You know
I'm in
that.
discovery.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Right.
But
you ain't answer the question.
Single.
Oh,
I
you
will
ain't
be
answered.
hollering. I will be hollering at the single women.
I
No.
don't want to say that loud. I don't want to block.
thank you
copyright.
everybody for joining us today.
Period.
It's another episode
You ain't blocking nothing.
of Dining and Discussions
What I'm
with
here
Lay.
for? Oh my bad.
I'm your host, Lay. And once again, as always, we are sponsored by South Island Spice, www.south. Ooh, that's a
All of
tongue
that.
twister.
All of it.
South Island Spice.
SouthIslandSpice.com.
Woo!
Visit me, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, wait.
No.
No.
There's
This is important.
He said no.
This is definitely important. We didn't comment on the food.
That's right.
That's
Oh, yeah,
right.
that's
Well, I
good.
told you 10 minutes.
So as you can see, my plate is clean,
No, go ahead, and
honey.
we can throw that in as bloopers later.
Yeah.
So,
The food was amazing.
It was good, yes. Great experience.
Amazing.
Lay,
Everything
thank
she
you.
cooked
You
was
did
amazing.
so well.
thank you.
And
Yes.
The spices was
The
off the chain.
spices. Coming to a store near you.
No.
Yes.